Hey there, welcome back to the Curious Cat Kitchen. I'm Kat, if you guys don't know me already, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple but flavorful dish. It's a great combination. It's lemon garlic pasta. That flavor combo goes with everything. I've made lemon garlic vegan scallops, kale, um, and just different pastas. It's super simple to whip up, so flavorful, and so delicious. And it's garlic and lemon, so all natural, so it's good for you as well. So we're gonna start off with, probably we're gonna use a whole head of garlic. Um, I always, if you looked at my staples, kitchen staples, garlic is definitely on there. Onions, garlic. I always have garlic in the house. And believe it or not, when I was young, when I was a kid, I hated garlic. Like, I did not like the taste. And for a long time, I was like, I don't like garlic. It's not for me. And then somehow, over time, I guess, as I matured, I learned to like garlic. Like, I still don't like it. Actually, I do. There's a lot of stuff now that I make that is just out of garlic, and I never thought I would like it. If any of you guys ever had toum, which is a Mediterranean dip, it is all garlic. It's just garlic and olive oil, actually. And like I said, this lemon garlic pasta, or lemon garlic sauce, however you want to do it, but lemon garlic pasta is one of my go-to meals when I need something quick and simple and delicious. So we are gonna cut up a lot of garlic. And I'm sure, well, I didn't know this, so I'm gonna share this information because, you know, you learn as you go. I used to use plastic cutting boards, but I switched over and I switched to wood because obviously plastic is not good. You get microplastics in your food, etc., etc. But also when I started using wood cutting boards, I realized that when you cut garlic or onions or anything like that, strong flavors, it stays in your cutting board. And then when you cut like fruits, like watermelon or something, any other fruits or any other things that you don't want the flavor of garlic in it, you would have, it just stays on. So long story short, I went and got new cutting boards, and it's like a set of 3 and whatnot. So I use one designated for just onions and garlic so that I don't have that issue of flavors. And then also, obviously, if you do meats or fish or poultry, it's a good idea to, or meat or fish, it's a good idea to have cutting boards obviously designated for that too, so that bacteria doesn't cross-contaminate into your fresh fruits and vegetables. So, but yeah, I know most people don't know that. I didn't know that. Don't know why. It seems pretty common knowledge, right? But, you know, like life, you learn as you go. So we're doing quite a bit of garlic here, and sorry, we're gonna get this angle camera fixed as we go, but you know, we're not reaching for perfection. We're reaching for just doing it because life is not perfect. And you just got to do it with what you have. How I cut garlic is that I basically cut the ends off. I wish I can move the camera to show you. But I cut the ends off, and I hate how it sticks. You know how garlic, just like the skin, your hands get sticky from, I guess, the garlic juice? And so I take the garlic, I cut the ends off, and then I take the knife and I just kind of like press it and smash it so that it loosens from the skin as my prep, and then I'll chop it up as I go. So yes, a little background about me for those of you that don't know. Never, ever thought that I would be doing cooking or anything with cooking as far as, my career or my path, shall I say. But here we are. Who knew? But I am a big foodie at, love food. I always say that, if I always say that like I'm a fat kid trapped in a skinny body. But I guess if I didn't watch what I eat or worked out, I would probably have a tendency to be a little overweight. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but healthy weight. But I love, love food. I love good food. I love flavors. And then when I became, I wouldn't even say plant-based, because I hate labels. I hate labels for everything. But, before I became plant-based, I'm like, I'm never going to restrict myself to anything that I don't want restrictions in my life. So I don't want to say I'm vegan or I'm plant-based or whatever it may be, because I don't want that to put that restriction on myself. But how I became mostly plant-based is because I watched the documentary on Netflix. And during that time of my journey, on my life journey, I was going through like this process of just learning to love myself, right? And I was watching that documentary, eating my curry goat at the time. I still remember the moment vividly. Eating my curry goat, watched the whole documentary, and I was like, oh my God, I love my body too much. I love myself and my body too much to knowingly put this in my body because of the way that the meat industry is in the US. So from that day, I decided that I couldn't put it into my body and that I wasn't going to do it. And sorry, don't mind the dog. I think she's seeing my daughter outside and she's going crazy. But is that, so I saw that documentary and I was like, I can't put that in my body. So from that day on, I actually stopped eating meat from that exact day on. And funny enough, when I, this was in 2021, right after or during COVID. And that was also, this was in November, I watched the documentary. And then in December, it was like an influx. If for any of you that lives in Florida, South Florida, there was like everybody I knew in that December had COVID. So after I decided I'm not going to eat meat anymore, I was going to just be, plant-based and all that. I got COVID. Just picking out all the, I'm going to pick it up and show you here. So I'm just chopping my garlic. So I got COVID, didn't eat, I didn't lose taste or anything, but the strangest thing happened because when right after I got better, it was New Year's Eve and I had a huge craving for crab and eggs. I don't know why. So for New Year's that year, I made curry crab and dumpling, and I had eggs, like I think right after or whatever. But I buy, you know, as far as, because I do the plant-based thing for health reasons and not anything else. Health reasons in the sense of like what they put in the food. I was like, okay, well, I want eggs. I like eggs. I love the jammy egg yolk. And, you know, people can come at me and be like, oh, eggs are this and that, whatever. Do what you will. This is what I do. And so I was like, okay, I can't find a replacement for eggs. I've seen all types of videos and things out there that they replace, you know, make the jamminess of the yolk. And I don't know, it just is not the same. So I do eat eggs. And once in a while, I eat seafood as well. So that is my little story on my switch of lifestyle, I would say, because I just wanted to eat better. So going back to, you know, the whole why now I am cooking, because I love food and I love good food. And while on the journey of just wellness and growth, I realized that I wanted good food. I wanted food that was good for my body, but I also wanted it to taste good. Like, because I love the flavor of food so much, like I could not have bad tasting food. So then when I changed to plant-based, that was a great challenge for me, was to be able to find ways, you know, dishes that I would see and be like, oh, how can I make that vegan? How can I make that without meat so that I can eat it? Or what can I use? So that's how I started on my journey. And then I realized that that allowed me to be really, really creative, to, you know, just be creative with what I make, with ingredients that I use and how I mixed it and whatnot. And as I said in my intro, if you guys had seen it, is that like, I do have an intuitive gift for flavors, from just watching my mom cook and the way she did it. My whole family actually cooks, but you know, my mom did most of the cooking. My dad cooks. My brother does too whenever he wants to. So I come from a family, even though we're not chefs, we were good in the kitchen. So I was able to learn. Or not learn, but I guess pick it up. It was in my genes. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's that creative intuition, like I said, is within all of us. We all possess it. It's just a matter of tapping into it. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I couldn't never do that. I say the way to do it is to start with what you like. What flavors do you like? Go with that. You know, I would say take a look at your, you know, take an inventory. It all starts with yourself, right? Take an inventory of flavors that you like, things that you like. Like some people really don't like sweet and salty. Some people don't like sweet and spicy, you know, but some people love spicy. So it's just a matter of finding and determining what it is you like, and then start from there. Once you know what you like, okay, so let's say you like savory. There's many different savory things. Like there's just salt, there's soy sauce, there is miso, there is what else is savory? I mean, the list goes on, but you know, you have savory, and then you kind of want to see, well, what else do I like with it? Do I like sweet? Do I like spicy? Do I like tang, or do I like sour? So mark down the flavors of stuff that you like, combinations that you like, and then start playing around with those. And it's pretty basic. Like when I say it's pretty basic, because there's only so many flavors. You know, there's sweet, salty, sour, spicy, bitter. I think that's all five. So most people don't like bitter, so you can eliminate that. But some people might like a little bit of bitterness, or like there may be veggies or things that carry a bitter finish. And then if you like those things, then you would have to figure out how to balance that bitterness with the other flavors that you like to balance it out. So yeah, so I would say start with the flavors that you like and have that as your base, and just experiment with your base first before you go, super far out into like playing with all kinds of different flavors. And also go with like foods that you like, meaning there's so many different cultural dishes, and there's like, so determine the foods that you like and the flavors that you like. And once you determine that, you can then kind of play around with it to see how you can create those flavors. So anyways, lots of garlic that is cut. Now we're gonna cut up our mushrooms. You can use any type of mushrooms. Mushrooms is also one of my favorite things to use, not just plain white mushrooms. I'm using white button mushrooms today, but there's so many different types of mushrooms, and I didn't know this until I went plant-based, and until social media and the internet have all these other people that are discovering different mushrooms and telling us how we can use it and what they can be used for, and so on and so forth. So you'll most likely see me make dishes for sure with mushrooms, with all different types of mushrooms. They do get a little bit pricey, especially the exotic mushrooms. But again, I'm just going to show you real quick. You see, I'm just slicing the mushrooms. Nothing special, nothing too crazy. Very simple stuff. Just slicing the mushrooms. And then I have a pot with water in the back, with water and salted water, so that I can boil my gnocchi. Actually, let me do that now. So, no, I won't start it yet, just because the gnocchi is really, really quick to cook. We just want it to float up, because you don't want to overcook it, then it becomes mushy, and that's not very tasty. So we're cutting up the mushrooms. After that, I'm gonna cook the mushrooms and the kale. I don't know if I mentioned I'm putting kale in here. I'm gonna put the kale in with the mushrooms and cook it with some of the lemon garlic sauce first, so it absorbs the flavor on its own. And then I'll do the gnocchi separate, and then I'll toss it all together. I mean, you can always easily do it all together. I just don't want, that's just me, I just don't want the kale and mushroom to take over all the sauce, and then the gnocchi might not have as much flavor, even though I don't think that will happen, but I just prefer to do it separately. So we are going to do that, and you will see how simple this is. This takes literally no time. And I have a client that absolutely loves this dish, loves the flavor. Anytime I put anything lemon garlic, she's like, I can't resist, I gotta get it. So it's real. Oh no, my mushrooms are falling. And then also what's great about this dish, the lemon garlic, like I said, if you're not a fan of mushrooms, because I know some people are weird about the texture. My youngest daughter is actually one of those people. She does not like mushrooms. But if you don't like mushrooms, then omit it and go with something else. I've done this with, like I said, different things, different veggies. You can do spinach, you can do broccoli, you can do Brussels sprouts, whatever veggies that you have that you can toss with it. Literally any veggies with that you can have with pasta. or you can do it with no veggies. But then it's just pasta. So, all right, so the mushrooms are cut up. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move over. No, I'm not going to move over yet. I'm going to just heat up the pan. Like I said, we're not aiming for perfection. Perfection will come as we go. But right now, it is what it is. We're working with what we have because that's how we're going to create. I find that, you know, we tend to wait for things to be perfect before. Where is my other oil? Oh. Before we do something. And it's not always the best way to go. Sometimes you just gotta take the leap and do it. So we are doing avocado oil in a pan. And I only use, once in a while I'll do grapeseed when I want to save on some money, because avocado oil is definitely not the cheapest oil you can get out there, but it's also the best oil to use for cooking. Like people always be like, "Oh, olive oil." No, like I cringe every time someone uses olive oil to cook, because olive oil becomes a carcinogen when it's heated at high heat. And I usually cook with pretty high heat. I don't know about anybody else. So I have olive oil, I eat it, but I'd rather just use that for salads and eat it uncooked to get all the nutritional values. So yes, I do avocado oil, and I always keep that on hand. Coconut oil is also not high heat. So avocado oil and grapeseed oil is the best oils for high heat. And since we're not always cooking with a thermometer to know the heat that we're using, I always just choose to go with avocado oil. It's better for you, and it's just the better oil to use. So I'm heating up some avocado oil. You want to do it on low heat. I just have to turn it down. You got to do it on low heat, like medium to low. So I have it on like medium. I have it on medium heat. And while that heats up, I am juicing my lemon. For the lemon juice, now you can also put a little bit of lemon zest if you like it lemonier. But usually the juice is good enough. So juicing my lemon. And for the kale. So kale, I already soaked it and washed it in vinegar and water. I always do that with my kale and most veggies, because the vinegar helps clean out any dirt, debris, bugs, anything that may be on the veggies, cleans it up, and any other chemicals, I guess, that is on there. And I always do organic whenever possible of anything. Not that, I don't know if that's any better, because we don't know what's out there, but I still think it's a better choice out of what we have. So my kale is already washed in vinegar, and it's here drying. I actually bought packaged kale this time because they were out of the regular one. And I saw the package and I was like, oh, okay, this works. So clean and washed, that's ready to go. I'm just waiting for the oil to heat up. So I'm actually going to bring you guys over here. We are gonna, so there we go. I got the oil in here. I got quite a bit of oil. Actually, I probably need less than that. I'm gonna take some of it out. Only because I don't want that much oils. I forgot that this is just for the mushrooms and kale, not for everything. So I took out some of the oil. We are gonna take half the garlic. that was cut or so. Skin in there. So with the kale, you want it to you want to wash it. And you know, sometimes kale has a bad rep because it's high in oxalates, and that can cause issues for people if you eat it too often. But that's a very simple fix that you can have, is just if you are eating kale salad, and I will go over this and when I do make something that is with kale salad, but you just have to massage your kale. You gotta wash it and you gotta massage it because it's such a thick, tough vegetable. You want to be able to massage it, and when you massage it with the oil and lemon juice or lime juice, it actually shrinks down to like half the size of, you know, you might have a big pile like this, and then once you wash it and rinse it, it becomes like half the size in the bowl. So that's a way to, and then also cooking it reduces the oxalate in it as well. I'm gonna put a little bit more garlic in here. So you just let this garlic cook. You don't want to burn it, so that's why we're doing it on low heat. Although it's a quick meal, it does require a little bit of patience in the beginning, just in the beginning, until the pan gets hot, depending on what type of stove you have. I'm actually going to start salting my water and boiling it so that I can get the gnocchi going, since the mushrooms and the kale are not going to take too long to cook. So, see, I have all this garlic. It smells amazing in here because of the garlic. And we can add mushrooms. Ah! Great. So, like I said, super simple dish. When you're at a pinch and you don't know what to make, this is always a good option. Lemon garlic, and like I said, if you look at my kitchen staples that I have, it is there's certain things that I always have. Noodles, pasta is always in my pantry. Lemon, garlic, some kind of citrus, either lemon or lime. Usually lemons. Sometimes lemon and limes is in my fridge, and I always have garlic. So when you have certain things on hand for, you know, you don't have to go out and get anything special, and you're looking for something to make that's tasty, this is a great one. And other things, like I said, staples that you keep to whip up a quick meal without having to be too creative. So I'm gonna pause the video here while this cooks, and then because this is just really sauteing it. Nothing super, nothing that you need to see, is just sauteing it. And then once the mushrooms cook down a bit, I'll put the kale in, and then I'll show you how it looks once that's done, so that the video is not too long. Okay, so here I'm just adding the kale, and you can see the kale is a lot right now because it's volume. And I like a lot of vegetables. Jeez, don't want this to fall. The kale is going to be, and for this part, actually, with the garlic, after it cooked down a little bit in the oil, I turned it up because I am adding a lot. I turned the heat up because I am adding, it's falling. It's falling because I need it to cook down the mushrooms and the kale. So I did turn the heat up to get a little bit, for it to cook a little bit faster. And it's falling. It's falling. And I would say when you're cooking, don't be afraid to play with your food. Don't be afraid to play with ingredients. Obviously, don't put something that you don't like in there or that someone in your family doesn't like. But don't be afraid to just kind of add things and make things your own. That's the whole fun thing about to make cooking fun is just to kind of be like, well, this would be good with it, or how would this be if I add this? And again, add stuff that you like, that you're familiar with, before you go exploring things that you may not be familiar with. But if you're adventurous like that, go ahead. You can go ahead and be adventurous, and if you like food, or like you're not a picky eater, you're someone that just kind of would like pretty much anything, then go ahead, play with different things. There's so many different veggies, different veggies. Like half the stuff we don't even know exist, especially if you're not, goodness, this is like falling everywhere. Especially if you're not, big on eating veggies and stuff. There's so many different things out there that we can get. So I'm just kind of gently moving this so that the heat can get to the kale, so then it can soften it, so that this is not a big pile of fluffiness that is just falling all over the place. You'll see it cook down. I haven't added the lemon juice to it yet either, or salt or anything. This is just the garlic, the mushrooms, and the kale right now. I'm gonna salt it in a bit once this cooks down a little bit more, and then I'll add the lemon juice. For the whole process. Again, I'm gonna just pause it here a little bit while this takes time to cook down, and then you'll see the difference of how much it shrinks. Okay, so you see how much that cooked down. It's like nothing. It's kind of like spinach, but even more. Mushrooms also shrink as they cook as well. All types of mushrooms, they will have shrinkage. So if you think you have more, and then all of a sudden you make it and it's like, wait a minute, this looks so little bit, I had all this bunch of mushrooms. It's because it shrinks. So knowing the vegetables, and again experimenting with different vegetables and how they their consistency, how they work, will allow you to play a little bit more. And I will show you different veggies that I use, and how to prepare them so that they have a certain consistency or whatnot. Like, for example, I think of eggplant. Like eggplants can have a mushy consistency, and you can make, a baba ganoush dip with it. So then it's just mushed, and then you can make eggplant fries, or like fry it. So then it's more firmer and crispier if you put a batter and just fry it. So there's like different things that you can do. It's just so versatile. Like there's just so many things that it's just a matter of playing with it and learning about it to make it more versatile. So there's also a lot of liquid that will come out from this because of the mushrooms and the kale. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's all this liquid in here, but I'm gonna take it out. Don't know if I'm gonna keep all the liquid. I think this is the first time I'm actually doing it with mushrooms. So all I did was add salt to this. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And you know, when you're adding any type of seasoning, start with less. Always start with less. Taste it. Let it cook. Like let it absorb in the food. Let it take in the flavors before, and then taste it. So then you know whether, you know, because the salt has to dissolve and cook down and kind of marinate into the flavor to see if it's the right taste that you want. Because once you make something too much, once you add too much of something, you can't take it away. It's already in there, and then you ruin the whole dish. So always start with less, and then add and add, and keep adding from there. So I am gonna taste this. So good. Oh my god. Just can't believe I never liked mushrooms. Or garlic before, not even mushrooms. Can't believe I never liked garlic when I was younger. So this is done. I'm gonna put this in a plate, on a plate. And then we're gonna heat up the oil for the pasta because the water for the gnocchi is also boiling. So I'm gonna do this 1 second. Okay, so I took the mushrooms and kale out. I heated some more oil in here. As far as how much oil you want to put in there, eyeball it depending on how much pasta you are making. I'm getting splashed. It depends on how much pasta you're making or what the portion is, but you want enough oil to cover, like to coat your gnocchi, because that's essentially the sauce. So you don't want it too oily, but at the same time you want it to be able to coat the gnocchi. You want to be able to coat the gnocchi in oil so that it doesn't stick, and it's not sticking together. So the rest of the onion goes in. The rest of the garlic goes in. You can hear that going. Now this is the actual lemon garlic sauce. So I didn't do lemon on the kale and mushrooms. I just did garlic and salted it. So this will actually be the sauce for everything. I think that was just on my part. I should have put some lemon into the kale and mushrooms, but it's okay. It will still get the flavor for sure. So gnocchi is in the pot. I do use store-bought gnocchi because the girl does not like anything with too long processes. That's why I don't bake, even though, you know, baking is not that hard. I just don't like stuff that is too many steps. I like simple, tasty, but still good for you and not too processed. But, you know, I know obviously making your own gnocchi would be best, but one of these days I might try. So while the garlic is cooking, you don't want it to burn, so you kind of want to watch it. I'm still on medium heat, but the pan is hotter because I did cook use it and cook it before. So now we're gonna, before the garlic browns, you want it to infuse the oil with flavors. Like you want it to cook nice and gently, but you don't want it to burn, like I said, because then you're going to get a bitter flavor. That's why we cook on low heat. Nobody wants bitter sauce or burnt sauce. So while that's going, we're going to add the the lemon and let that cook. Let that mix in. And like I said, the gnocchi, you just want it to float to the top. You don't want it to get too mushy. You don't want it to sit in the water for too long, so it doesn't take long at all. Oh, I look like I might need a little bit more garlic. A whole head of garlic was not enough. But no, we'll see. It should be fine. So we're going to add some more lemon juice. And that's it. It's just lemon juice, garlic, and salt. Did actually forget parsley, so we should chop up some parsley, which I have. Chop up some parsley as a finisher. Yes, I know people will say the best way to store parsley is put in a jar with water in the fridge. But this works. So I left it in the bag, but we're going to chop up some parsley. While that is still cooking, I'm going to add because the parsley is just a finishing touch. You want it to get some, even though you have the greenery from the kale, this will kind of spark it up a little bit. Gives it a nice mild flavor as well. I'm going to go ahead and add the gnocchi in because I don't want it to get set. I don't want it to get super mushy. And it's cooking in more, it's going to cook some more anyway, so it's not like you're just taking out and eating it, so it doesn't even need to fully cook through in the water. You just want to soften it. So we're adding that in. I'm going to save the water just in case we need it, but I don't think we do. It is salted water, so we add the gnocchi. We're going to add salt, very important. If you don't add salt, all you have is lemon and garlic, which is gross. Salt brings out the lemony flavor as well, but balances out, obviously. So you have sour, and when you have sour, you either need sweet or savory to balance it out. So this is going, I'm going to have to chop up the parsley. I don't want it to cook too long. I'm going to take it off the heat. It's already starting to become a little gummy from the heat. Adding a little bit more salt. And then in this case, if it gets too salty, you can add a little bit more lemon juice. But once again, I'm just gonna move over here. Take this off the heat. 1 second. Gonna move. All right, so moved it over here just to, I took it off the heat a bit because I don't want it to overcook. It's off the heat. I'm just rough chopping some parsley so that I can add that to it, and then add the kale and the mushrooms back in. adjust the flavor, and then we are done. Like I mentioned, you know, doing something. Reason I want to do a honor, a mention, a shout out to a good friend of mine back in Toronto, Canada, who actually encouraged and inspired me to start this channel. Knowing my background is in fashion. I went to fashion. I've done design as well as merchandising. But, you know, I am back in Toronto way back. I started a fashion line called Katasia Creations, and he still remembers it. And when I saw him and kind of, you know, I hadn't seen him in a while, caught up with him, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, believe it or not, I'm cooking. I'm a chef now." Was not something that I intended, but it is what it is. So I'm adding the parsley in. And, you know, he was like, "Well, can you teach people how to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I can. Move you back over here." I was like, "Yeah, I can do that. It's, you know, something that I like to do." And teaching, or not even teaching, but showing people how to cook and eat more healthy is a passion of mine, because, you know, there's so little that we know about nutrition, so little knowledge we know about nutrition and the foods we eat, even though now we have a lot more information available to us. But over time, you know, there wasn't enough information to tell us anything. And just simple, easy substitutions can work for healthier eating. So anyways, I digress. So he was like, "Well, if you can teach people, you know, you should start a channel and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, but you got to do all that editing and all that other stuff, which I'm not a pro. I don't know how to do." And he was like, "Just do it." He's like, "Just let the camera roll and just film and just do it." So I was like, "Okay." I'm like, he's like, "You know, how do you think other people started? Blah, blah, blah." Not blah, 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 but like, you know, he was speaking to me about it. And I was like, "You know what? You're right. So many times we might want to do something and we allow fear to stop us. We allow what other people may think. We fear people's judgment, or, you know, yeah, we fear people's judgment. We fear failure. We fear so much different things. And we allow our fears to stop us from doing something that we want to do." So he inspired me to, and I was like, "Okay, you're gonna hold me to it. I'm gonna be accountable. I'm gonna start this channel." So shout out to my boy Kirk from Four Corners, the Raptors, for the DJ for, I don't know what, 2 decades now. The DJ for the Raptors. I don't know what I just said, but the DJ for the Raptors for like 2 decades now. So shout out to Kirk for pushing me, inspiring me to do this. Love you. Known you for a long time, and, you know, sometimes we just need that little inspiration and that little push to push us. So I've added back the kale and the mushrooms back in. Mm-mm-mm. It's a good texture. Oh, I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the lemon juice in here, and a little bit more salt. And then we are done. It is that simple. Took less than an hour for it to complete. It can be even faster if you're not doing mushrooms or, you know, not doing the cutting and the prepping and all that other stuff. But it doesn't take long. And then we have, show it better once I move it. All right, so I plated it up. We have our gnocchi, lemon garlic gnocchi with kale and mushrooms. And I hope you guys try it. Let me know what you think. After you try it, you just want the balance of enough saltiness, enough tanginess from the lemon, but then that garlic flavor really comes through. So good. So try it. Thank you for joining me. And let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. And if you try it, let me know what you think. All right. See you guys next time.